All right, hey everyone. Welcome to another episode on Stuck in the Day Shift.
Yes,
We're here with the owner.
the owner, co-host,
Co-owner.
co-host. So if you guys see, this is probably gonna be a little different for you guys. As
Different
last
setup.
Yeah,
This-
it'll probably be like this for a couple of episodes. Cause right now we're currently getting like our own setup build, like an actual little studio.
We're working on something.
yeah.
We're getting something, a little active.
But
we're actually
you guys are seeing a new face,
new
right?
face.
I'm
Would you
gonna
like
give him a
to
little
introduce
time
yourself?
Yep.
Hey, I'm Josh Bhagratie, owner of 9450 Global.
There we go.
Oh,
Excited for the episode.
All
There we
right.
go. Hisyon.
Listen, you gotta use that soundboard.
Hisyon, do the claps.
There we go. There we go. Once again, as you
man.
like, this is we're all getting used to the setup. It's like we are very lucky to have. I'm gonna put a little appreciation to Hosyan for having to.
Oh yeah,
guest on
Hisyon
this
is back in
setup
the
and
camera.
stuff.
So shout out to Hisyon.
Shout out to the cameraman.
And,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's
man. Let's get
go ahead and
started
give a clap it
to
up.
There we go. There we go. Shout out to the cameraman.
I already did.
Oh. No, he already introduced himself.
No, you mind if I ask?
Yeah, go for it.
You want to say a couple things about you? Yeah, this is my first time meeting you.
Oh,
This is
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you want to say a couple
man.
things about yourself, what you actually do?
Yeah. So I run a brand called 9450 Global. We do clothing, talent management, and sports media here in Orlando, Florida. Started out with clothing. That moved me into working with talent, doing some like marketing stuff, and then that kind of opened my eyes to media, specifically in basketball, and then now we've expanded into soccer as well.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a short synopsis, but we'll get into it.
Okay. And how did you guys meet again?
So we actually shout out to Rice League.
Yep.
Right. Shout out to Rice League. Shout out to Dwight. AJ. Shout out to all them boys.
AJ the Truth.
Yeah, that's how we met. We met through a meeting of Rice League,
Mhm.
and then we just connected.
Okay.
How was that? How did you get into Rice League?
Dwight, actually. I
Dwight?
met him at...
What a guy.
Yeah, I met him at Magic had a fundraiser event, and he was out there. I don't think we met there, probably like afterwards on Instagram or something. I reached out because I saw they worked with some of the Magic athletes and the organization themselves. So I was like, well, we're in the...
Yeah, they got pretty like deep connections and deep roots into like all that stuff.
Yeah. So I was like, well, we're around the same circle, same people. I was like, let me reach out. Both have a love of basketball. So
Yeah.
we just started from there. And it's like, we got on a phone call, I think the next day, and I kind of heard his story, told him mine. He's like, hey, I'd love to have you come talk at a Rise League meeting. I said, sure. And I think 3 weeks later, I showed up,
Yep.
and it was a great time.
It was a wonderful time. It was
There's
like
a lot of opportunities with the Rise
No,
League.
yeah,
So
yeah.
much.
and they're about to go crazier.
Yeah, and
so-
they're just continuing to grow.
Yeah.
Because I've only been to one of the meets because I get pretty busy. But like the one meet that I went to, there's so much, so many
Yeah,
people
you,
there.
You
that
met
learn.
Shaq.
I met Shaq
Yeah,
there.
okay, yeah,
I
yeah.
met a lot of the great people there. The speech, Dwight, like I officially met him there because like I heard about him and stuff like that. Great guy, like I said. But I can tell there's gonna be a big things for them,
Yeah.
and they're continuing to do it too. There's a lot of big things, and also the opportunities for the people that are also joining them as well.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah, and I think he's going full time with it now.
Yeah,
So
he's
Yeah.
finally full time.
Mhm.
great for him.
Hosyan clapped it up
yeah,
for the,
Go ahead,
for the
clap
wife
it
being
up.
full time in Rice League.
yeah,
Clap it up, man.
respect.
Yeah, respect. So before we get into the man right here in front of us, he actually wanted to hear the story about how we got this picture. And as
Yeah.
you can see, my hair is way longer. This was like what, like
This,
right
this,
after
I
high
want to
school?
say no. This was like probably like 2 years after high school. Because I know this wasn't that summer, like that we were, going out and stuff like that.
Plenty.
But I know it was like this picture. I'm not gonna lie. At one point, like after like our high school year, we was just kind of outside.
Yeah,
like
we were outside
I
every
took a
day
gap
broke.
year. Yeah,
We had no money, and
Yeah.
somehow we were buying McDonald's. We were going out skating.
Hey,
playing
that was
basketball.
like our most active time. Like we were over here hitting the UCF parties and
Yeah.
stuff. Like we were out every day, and we still question to this day how we did it and how we made it through.
I was in college during this time, so I was taking classes, and I wasn't really working. So I was like, I don't know how I have money in my bank account.
I know this was
Yeah,
2
I
years after because I was also in school. I know I was
Yeah.
thriving off of the financial aid.
That's why
money.
Shout
Yeah.
out Pell Grants.
Yo,
Yeah.
shout out to them. You guys definitely are helping a lot of students get through it.
No,
man.
for real. And
Which McDonald's was this?
this was
This is by downtown.
Downtown. Okay.
Yeah.
Downtown. That was close
we
downtown.
literally like a lot of people would say it too. We had the fisheye lens, and people were allowed to say we were like, oh, we were abusing it, stuff like
Yeah,
that. So we have so many pictures of these.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, it's hard. I mean,
And
No,
actually,
yeah.
Hosyan was actually the one who put Stuck in a Day Shift.
ah,
So,
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, good job, Hosyan.
was it intentional with the like SpongeBob type.
Yes, that's what.
Mhm.
I think,
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it him or was it?
No,
you?
it was you. You were like, we were going for like more of like a cartoon vibe. Like,
Was it
trying
me?
to, like,
Really?
I thought it was. It was it.
I think it was Hossein.
No, you see the figure?
I think it was Hossein.
It was
definitely
Hossein.
Hossein.
But
But yeah, man, when we started this podcast, it was kind of like a moment thing. It was just like, bro, let's just start now.
Mhm.
We wanted to
it's
be
still
like
iconic
characters.
though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's
and we was
iconic.
like, you know what? Let's just do this picture. It was iconic. Like,
There were so many times too that we tried to have like ChatGPT change it out, so like that. They just kept ruining it. Like
Yeah.
it just
shout out
got
to
worse.
ChatGPT. I use it every day.
Oh
No,
my god.
It's a
It's-
great
it's
tool.
game
It's
changer.
a great tool.
But
Yeah.
oh, you were saying?
No, to that point, like just getting something off the ground. I think as entrepreneurs, we
Yeah.
you know, we have an idea, and then, you know, especially if you don't come from like a background of knowing how to use Photoshop or
Yeah.
something,
Mhm.
you just want to get your ideas out. So, you know,
This
that-
it was
that's really
literally the
dope, yeah.
best way. Like we're still doing to this day doing things like we were just like let's just do it, you know,
Yeah.
on top of it. Because like with the podcast, like I mean, we talked about it for a little bit. We didn't really talk too much about it, but I know he brought up the idea because we had a close friend AJ.
Mhm.
AJ brought it. He was talking about how he wants to do it, or whatever, and then he brought the idea upon us. I was like, oh, that would be great, you know. And
And
we
then-
really like pushed it.
Yeah, and then AJ had a lot of things going on, so I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for nobody. Let's just start our own,
Yeah.
and we just did. And now AJ
One
is,
by one,
yeah, now AJ is obviously a big part of this podcast, and he will continue to do.
100%.
To
He's
be
you know
a-
I would say he's a part of the team.
Yeah,
He's
no,
with us. Like
definitely.
when we think of a team, it's like AJ's on there. Like I mean,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah,
reason why
yeah.
we started this whole thing. You
Yeah,
know,
no, AJ is definitely a part of this whole thing. But talking about starting a business, talk to me about yours, because I know with your background, at that last meeting at Rice Peak,
Yeah.
you don't come from a family who this is like kind of like
No, yeah.
like a
My-
go to, you know.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit more about that and how it really made you start a clothing brand. Like what made you go that route?
I think it starts off with the passion. I
Okay.
grew up just a big fan of basketball, the NBA, playing the sport. Never played organized basketball, but recreational. You know, that was just I was
Had a love
going
for
out. Yeah, had a love for it,
Mhm.
honestly. So that plus my interest in fashion and collecting shoes and also being a reseller, which I think, you know, sometimes I guess looked down upon, but it is, you know, just a way to make money.
Yeah.
I feel like a
collect-
lot of people start off like that.
Yeah.
Reselling?
Reseller was like a really big thing at its time.
Yeah,
Like-
collecting sneakers. One, I was a fan of what was being released. You know, the latest Supreme or, you know, stuff like that, latest Nikes, that kind of thing. And then I was like, okay, well, how can I make money off of this and
Mhm.
you know afford more shoes? That was the main goal. And then from there, that was kind of the start of the entrepreneurial spirit. And then from there, it's like, okay, well, you know, I see what these brands do. They're doing their, you know, coming up with designs, putting out product, doing photo shoots, all this kind of stuff. It's like I can do that on my own. You know?
Yeah, like
And-
what's the difference? Why can't you do it?
yeah, and that's a great thing about streetwear culture is that, you know, you got guys who don't come from, you know, a digital background or anything like that, but
Yeah.
they learn. They take the
Mhm.
time to, you know, hone their craft, and that's what made me want to start my own thing. And 9450, like the numbers represent the dimensions of a basketball court, 94 feet by 50 feet. So
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
So
yeah.
walk us, in the audience down timeline. This is like 3 or 4 years ago.
No,
or
this is
how
more.
long?
This is actually about 6 or 7 years ago now.
Oh, so
Oh,
you've been
so-
doing this, you know?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's evolved over time. But,
No, yeah.
Yeah. I'd say, 2018. That's when I had the
2018.
idea.
That's when you started.
Yeah, to commit to it. And because I had some other ideas
Did you start by yourself or like did you start like with a team or anything?
no, by myself.
Yeah.
from scratch. I did have something early on. It was actually like a skateboard brand. It's called Liberty Grind. And I had two other
You skate it?
Yeah. And I had two other partners that we were trying to get this thing off the ground. We had like creative differences and ended up just not going anywhere. So after that, I decided, hey, well, if I attempt this again, I'll do it on my own. I know it'll take longer.
Following like
Yeah.
a different route and stuff.
Yeah. And back then I was big on this website called Hypebeast. And
Ooh,
Ooh, I
Hypebeast
know
was
about
a-
that one.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had the
That's
forums
a
on
nostalgia
there.
one.
Yeah, they had the forums on there. So it was just a digital creative community. You had graphic designers, brand directors, people that were just collecting things. And in that kind of environment, I was like, okay, I can start my own thing. And just started with a couple basic designs. Was doing print on demand to start because I didn't know how to like screen print a T-shirt.
What was the most difficult thing about starting a clothing brand? Because that's how this whole thing started. What was like the main obstacle?
Being organized, I guess.
Organized?
Like figuring out, okay, how do I make a website? How do I turn a graphic into a vector? Who am I going to get it, printed by?
Yeah.
I feel like the most of the biggest thing that people had a problem with is like finding a manufacturer, like one not trying to get scammed, one that's gonna put out products that you're not just it's not just like that easy stuff or whatever. Yeah. It's hard to find that, but when you do, like it's big help.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And did you make your own website?
Yeah.
Was it all you?
Yeah.
So where did you make the website? If you don't mind us asking.
Shopify.
Shopify. So everything. Okay. So now the same thing that people are doing now through Shopify.
Yeah. A lot of it was just plug and play. They have different features. You put it in, customize it how you want. So it wasn't too bad to like literally just get it off the ground because I needed something to process payments, have the website security, all that kind of stuff. And from there, it was just, okay, now I have to get product. What are the T-shirts going to look like? What does a brand represent? Because 9450 in my mind, and it was a foundation. It was a platform in itself. The court becomes its own platform for players, for teams, for building skills, teamwork, that kind of stuff. So we wanted to get into that, but also make clothes that appeal to basketball fans.
Yeah.
So our biggest thing was, memes.
Yeah.
It was stuff like Malice in the Palace, Giannis, what he wore coming into the game.
I mean, because you're really trying to, you're trying to be in the crowd where, these people are trying to like, they see your product, they're like, oh, this is like, this is the area, the basketball and stuff like that. You want someone to be like relate to it and stuff,
Yes, exactly that. Relate to the basketball fan, even casual fans, because they're, I think there's a hierarchy of basketball fans. There's people who actually played the game professionally, college. They can call plays out. They can pretty much coach, But then you got people that just look at it as a form of entertainment, and that's, I'd say, a bulk of basketball fans. But it contributes to
It's just crazy how just basketball stuff. There's like different I guess like segments. Like everyone got their own thing, how they see it, but it, they all come back to one thing.
Yeah. And it truly comes back to just enjoying the game. And so we started out with this like meme content on T-shirts specifically for basketball fans. And then
how'd that go?
It actually went pretty well. Cause we had some funny stuff that was like probably stuff we wouldn't put out now, but it was like, again, like Malice at the Palace, and it was like a
You're like, how does it feel like when you look back on your old stuff?
I enjoy it because it does. I think there was always a sense of humor to what we were trying to do.
I mean, you could really see yourself, when you look at your old stuff. You see like, oh, what you were thinking at that time.
Back
it's
when I was
it's crazy.
24 and like coming up with these T-shirt ideas and graphics and everything. I was like, let's just stuff that I would want to buy or want to wear, or something I thought was funny, and again that connects to a basketball fan. This is what we have now.
Oh, there we go. Nice. Yo.
This
Good
is
job,
our
Wilson.
kind of
Nice.
modern
I was
stuff.
just texting him a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So this is
a 9450 Global
So this
website.
is your website, right?
Yes.
that's the website.
So as you can see now, it's a little more
It's like modernized.
modernized, but ironically, we go for like a vintage look.
I love it though. I'm not gonna lie, I love it.
And stuff like this, again, it just
That
appeals to
Anthony
basketball
Edward
fans.
ones is crazy.
Right, that's hard.
Hey guys, let's try to kind of blackmail him to give us free.
Free
just
we could wear your merch
free
and stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
we'll
we're
really let
presenting-
it be known.
Got my guy Jacoby. He's a photographer here in Orlando.
Shout out to him.
Rocking
Shout
the
out to him.
tees, yeah.
Now, Hosan, if you can pull up the Instagram, which is the media, not global.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the
So
media
let's look
side
at the media,
too.
because he also has a website that I want to take a look at.
So I'll break that down too.
Yeah.
So from the clothing side, I was looking for help advertising the brand, and my barber at the time, he put me in contact with a social media content creator guy by the name of Nick Briz, does basketball content, and we connected. Again, having that common appreciation of the sport. And
Hey, it's kind of crazy that you got a connection through your barber.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it
That's
really
the
depends
main
on really
thing
who you
why-
know.
oh yeah, barbers
I
know
know
a lot
you-
of people.
Yeah, why I know you believe you said this heavily to me also.
Mhm.
Because me and him had a few interactions that's why I may be quiet and letting Jamal take over, guys. It's not that
Yeah,
I'm
just,
distracted. Yeah, no. But networking is such a huge thing.
It's big.
It's so huge.
In my personal thing, I think it's the biggest thing because it's not like I always say this one. It's not what you know; it's who you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the easiest one to go back onto is like acting. You could be the best actor in the world, and you might have no connections whatsoever.
Yeah.
But you could be the worst one. You have the biggest connection to the biggest movie. Boom, you have some type of part. Your barber. Like, who would have thought your barber would know something about like a connection that's gonna start you off something crazy?
I remember I was getting my haircut. I told him, I'm starting this brand, doing basketball stuff. He's like, oh, you should connect with this guy. He does basketball content on Instagram.
It was just meant to be.
Yeah. And then from there
we go.
Yeah, the media side and everything. But so I connected with Nick, and probably
Just leave it there.
6 to 9 months, his brand takes off to where his content's getting reposted on House of Highlights, Sports Center, all that kind of stuff. And then I become a talent manager because I say, hey, this guy's got talent. I can help him get to, a brand like Bleacher Report or something a little more solid versus just a repost on Instagram.
Click the media. The link.
The link underneath the email.
Oh, yeah, we got the website
right here. Then boom.
And if you want, you can also bring up the YouTube channel just to have it.
Yeah.
YouTube's still building out. I'll be honest, we don't have too many followers.
But we're the same.
Trust me. Right now, it's all about just
There we go.
I'll say the Instagram is where we have most of our following, and then now it's like, okay, how do we figure out you get them onto YouTube, to get them onto TikTok?
Transferring, I think.
So how are you going to? How are you going about that? Like, because that's one of the things too. Like our main, I would say, like is our TikTok. Like Instagram is probably like second, but like getting it on YouTube is like a lot more difficult because like not a lot of people just they mostly go based off of like TikTok, and it's the easiest platform.
Short-term content. That's what it looks like. So it's hard.
That's what's really popular right now. Short form content is just
the clipping and stuff.
The attention span of who's consuming your content, it's pretty short nowadays. I mean, the stuff we post on Instagram, it's
it's easy,
30 seconds, 45 seconds.
And even
like,
that
how could
is
you
like
not pay
pushing
attention?
Like 45 seconds is even pushing.
Oh my
nowadays.
God, pushing a minute? Like your video is a minute long?
Like bro, make it.
It's a minute.
Yeah. People want things quick, and it's one of those things that I think we're in this era that we just have to experiment. I think the idea of using TikTok or Instagram as a funnel to your YouTube page where, in some aspect you have a hook to your content. In your TikTok, you may talk about something, but you build up so much interest, from your viewer. And now it's like, okay, to watch the full interview, go to YouTube, that kind of thing. And I've seen that a lot, and it works here and there. But then sometimes it's saturated because everyone's doing it.
Yeah, because I mean, that's like, tune in. Like you play like a clip of it, like let's say someone's saying like some crazy thing or whatever, and like you cut the video right there, and then it's like, if you want to watch more, go on YouTube.
Yeah.
But most of the time, people don't even want to check it out. They're just like,
Yeah. And then on top of that, you're battling against algorithms.
It's hard to figure the algorithm out because it's always changing. It's always changing.
But I'll say what's worked with us. I mean, basketball content, especially. So after working with the talent, getting into these spaces, we've been to All-Star Weekend and all that kind of stuff, and building up the network from there. Then it kind of got into my head. Why don't we start documenting this? This is a journey in itself. Like, yes, I'm building a brand, but also I still appreciate the game and want to cover it in some aspect. I started up a blog. It was actually on the clothing brand website. It was a blog that I started, and that's how we started in media. And then from there, we just kept getting more connections, and finally got a credential with Orlando Magic. That was our first credential about 2 years ago.
That's what you cover most, right?
Yeah.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah. So as of now, it's Orlando Magic, Osceola Magic, UCF, men's basketball, women's basketball, Unrivaled, which was a women's 3v3 league, January to March of this year. They just launched, and then Orlando City and Orlando Pride. So now
could you actually give us a tour of your website and stuff?
Yeah. So I'll be honest, it is a little all over the place. We are in the process of fine tuning it and kind of.
Honestly, it looks good though. This looks like a real certified blog channel.
I mean, it is a real.
No. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it if I'm thinking like this is like CNCN news. That's what I mean. Like
this is kind of like a real.
I know. You know what I'm saying? It's the real deal. This is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of like press stuff that we get because now we're in a space where the teams will send us their communications and stuff, and then we formulate our own articles from that.
Do you mind scrolling down a little bit so we can like do like a slow scroll through it?
And you do now, while he's checking out the website, you do now have a full team, correct?
Yes.
You have a full team.
Mm-hmm.
Can you walk us down of how that happened and
a lot of it was just
like who's in your team?
Yeah, people seeing just the work on Instagram, seeing. I'll be honest, like seeing myself on the court or seeing us post content from the game. People are like, hey, can I come record for you guys? Can I, shoot a game or, do you guys need help? So just showing up was a big part of that. And I kind of realized that probably midway through our first season.
Just go back up.
I'll say this, that, this is we just wrapped up our second season covering the team.
Oh,
we're
congrats.
still
congrats.
relatively new
Clap it
to
up, clap it up.
Yeah,
Clap it up. Congrats.
Hit the button.
Come on. There we go.
Low delay, but
But
it's the audience. It's the audience in the background.
But just showing up to the game, showing up to media day. We covered, I think there was like just about 40 home games. We covered 25 in that range.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah, and we just continue to build, and it's kind of like a snowball effect, where people see us showing up, the consistency. But I'll be honest, I'm not a professional photographer or videographer, but I can at least put in the.
It's all about consistent.
Yes.
Being consistent.
You know what that remind me? Lady Gaga.
What does she know about cameras?
What does she know about camera?
Like
that's how it all
that's
started,
what it
bro.
is. And then, the whole consistency thing, like people really don't understand. Like I don't even know how to explain this as best I can. Like you really don't have to be a part of it. Like you don't really have to know too much about it. But if you're just constantly putting that work in, consistent, boom, 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 putting out videos like for us, like how we're doing with the podcast and stuff, it's gonna hit.
Yes.
Eventually, like it doesn't.
100%.
You learn as you grow.
Yeah, and that's the best part of it too. Like from the start of when we started this podcast, we did not know. Like I remember the first day we got all that stuff, like our like equipment and stuff, and now compared to what we have now, where we show up and we're starting to look a little bit more professional and stuff. It feels good too.
Yeah.
You see how
it
the
was
progress
a little
and stuff.
delay in the beginning.
But as long as you get the ball rolling, that's all that matters.
Yes. Yeah.
So to our listeners out there who wants to start a business, any sort of business, what would you say is the biggest advice for them to start?
Taking action.
Taking action?
Like
That
actually
first step.
start.
That
That
first
first
step.
step is always.
It's the hardest.
It is.
Actually, I was talking to a friend. Maybe you can give him some advice. I was talking to a friend, and he wants to start like his own podcast. And then he was like, "But I'm just trying to get settled financially." And I told him, waiting for that moment, it might take you years to come. Like
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you got to start tomorrow, today.
Yeah.
You're literally taking that first action. It's like because a lot of people want to wait up. They want to wait until they're ready.
right
like
time
the
is
right
never the
moment.
right time,
There's no
the
such
perfect
thing as the right moment.
No. Yeah.
You just take action. You go ahead and you just do it. And you're gonna learn throughout the moment too. Like if you notice, like, oh, you started off wrong, like this isn't right, you change it up.
Yeah.
As long as you're consistently doing it. You see, as long as you're doing it and just taking, it's that first step. Always gonna come back to that first step.
Yeah.
What was because you were big into sneakers, right? That's how this kind of started in basketball.
Yeah.
What was like your first like wow type of sneaker?
Back then it was the Yeezy 350 V2s.
I don't know what that looked like. Can you put that
Yeah,
up?
can you
Post
put up
it.
a picture of that?
The Yeezys? What?
I'm not too deep into shoes.
350 V2s.
350
V2s.
Yeah.
Oh,
these.
these were so popping
I
at the
think it was
time.
these actually.
Oh,
that-
those.
Yeah.
So click on
Yeah.
the red ones and black. Oh, the
I
white
think-
one and red.
Why don't you can go to
It's
images.
the same.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay. So this
Yeah.
is your first big.
I actually,
shoes.
you know how bad I wanted these shoes at the time when they first came out. Like for
They
something,
were-
I was
they were popping.
everybody,
Yeah,
bro.
you
We
could
had a
get-
friend that like had the same shoes for like years, and he never. You know,
Jose?
who it's, Abel.
No, Abel. Sorry,
Jose.
Jose.
Abel, his shoes were white when they started. Turned out yellow at the end. And we were like, we thought he loved those
Yeah.
shoes.
What is he doing?
Gonna buy all the stock.
Yeah.
I wonder what that
so
comes
this
out
was like
to.
your first like
kidding with you.
big shoe.
Yeah, it was these.
And this was how long ago?
Probably like 2018.
2018.
2017, 2018.
And then from there you started reselling.
Yeah.
And then what type of products were you reselling?
Mostly shoes and
Shoes?
streetwear.
Okay.
Streetwear like Supreme. I'd wake up, I think they still do it today. It's like 11 a.m. Eastern time on a Thursday, and they drop their latest releases.
Mhm.
And being on Hypebeast, people kind of let you know like, oh, this has some hype. You know, people want to buy it, and you know, back then it was like you go on Google Chrome, mess around with some settings or something, and you know, you're able to purchase it because you got.
Did you ever like go in person and wait in a line?
No,
never that.
Yeah,
I used to see people do that all the time. They were always waiting for it, and like people were there before even closing. They'll camp out the night. Or something.
I wasn't that.
Not that deep.
I would do the internet stuff. You know, they had back then it was, you know, configurations on Chrome and all that stuff. And you know, at that time it was like bots even. And you know, you buy your shoes or whatever, and then flip them.
You could
on eBay.
Take it off the screen. We don't want to. Man, we're not sponsored yet.
Yeah.
We're not sponsored yet, man.
Give that,
we can't give it too much time, man.
Give it too much.
But I mean, even now that you got people that still resell sneakers and stuff.
It's still a thing.
Yeah,
it definitely had its time, like its peak or whatever, but it's still popping to this day.
I mean, with the invention of StockX and all those companies, you know, like this was right before StockX started and GOAT and all that stuff. So yeah, a lot of times it's just independent sellers that were just again buying streetwear, buying sneakers, and then flipping it on eBay or, you know, these different markets. And you know, you could buy something on Supreme at 11 a.m., flip it for like 40% markup by like 1 p.m.
You think you'll still be able to do the same thing now? It's a little bit more difficult.
It's a little more difficult, but honestly, like with AI and stuff, like you can get AI to code you something, and you know, figure out how to work that,
which is insane.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm an advocate for AI. I'm sorry, I use ChatGPT more than I use Google or TikTok.
Yeah, there's Perplexity, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like ChatGPT is my Google.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's honestly insane the things you could do with ChatGPT.
I was buying food and I was like, which one is healthier?
No way you asked ChatGPT which one was healthier.
I asked her what's
That's
healthier.
a Google question.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? He said, I asked her.
Yeah.
It's a personality.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's his
my
girl.
girl. That's my ball.
Some people have nicknames for their ChatGPT.
ChatGPT's that's my ball. That's my girl.
That's insane.
She's there for me more than any. Listen, man.
I saw a video on Instagram the other day. They said someone made a little video. It's like, should I eat breakfast? And
that's ChatGPT.
And it wrote a little video, and then like the highlight is like, yes.
Yeah, I use crazy. Because you know I use ChatGPT for everything.
How often on a daily? Like, if you were to put like a number, like how often do you use it throughout a day?
Number like from an hour?
No, just like how many times would you use it a day?
Dude, like I'm not gonna gas and be like 25. No, probably like 8 to 2, 3, 4 times. 8
it's
to 3,
not
4
bad.
times. Yeah, because it's like, you know, every time I'm doing something or I gotta make a decision, I'm like, let me ask ChatGPT. Like for my face actually has been clearing up massively.
Shout out to ChatGPT.
Yo, I was like, ChatGPT, I'm struggling. My acne won't go away.
Yeah.
What products can I use? I sent her a picture of myself I was posting.
Wow.
Yo, for real,
like
bro.
A consultant.
This is like literally, bro. This is like a therapist, you know?
It is. You know,
That's awesome.
But it's not awesome when it's being used against you. I had a girl tell me that she had to ask ChatGPT that she didn't want to hang out with me and she didn't know how to tell me. So she put it on ChatGPT and ChatGPT gave her like a long list. And wow,
being it used against you is kind of crazy.
Yeah. It's a good party trick. Like I was with some friends and we were like, ChatGPT, write a breakup text.
Oh my god!
I feel like that's something. That's how I
make it more professional.
Yeah. Make it.
You know, it's so funny. The most thing I always say is like, dumb it down a little bit. You know, like it be talking like some crazy. You know, a little more like make it sound like me. You know, using it as a breakup though. I never even thought about stuff like that. You know, there was a point in time going back on the podcast, I was trying to figure out how to make a YouTube banner on it. So I was just giving her ideas like, hey, like, can you do this? This is whatever. And the struggle, like, maybe I'm just not a ChatGPT user. Like, I don't really know like that. You know, I was at my house. I spent like at least an hour or two trying to like figure out a YouTube banner. I don't know if I ever told you this. No. I had like a whole, like, this was like a Adventure Time setup. Like I had the characters and stuff like that. It's something it was not working for me. And it looked good at one point, but then I ran out of uses. And I couldn't do it no more.
Oh yeah. You got to use it correctly because you run out of uses. Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think AI will get to a point where it will absolutely take over your whole business to the point where, you know, you
might get fired from AI. Yeah. You know,
fire is his business.
Yeah.
No, like, how is he gonna get fired from his own?
AI is different.
It's gonna take you out of business. Do you think we're gonna get to that point where you don't even?
I mean,
It's scary stuff to think
It
about.
is scary. I hope not.
I feel like that's the best answer you can give. You know, knock on wood. Yeah.
Because I think, you know, and I've had like writers, you know, journalists and stuff, because we still write articles here and there, and you know, a lot of stuff you could just take the press release, throw it in ChatGPT, proofread it, that kind of stuff. And then you have writers that like their job is to literally write about a game, you know, all that kind of stuff. So it's tough. I think you should look at it as a piece of technology, and the technology serves its purpose to help you. You know, that should kind of frame how you operate with it. But I don't know if you guys seen Google VO3. It's
Google
like
VO3. What is
their
that?
video AI software, and you could literally do a text prompt. It'll create the video and include audio in it.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's under a paywall and everything. Like you have to subscribe to Google's AI service.
Could you search that?
Yeah.
What's it called?
VO, FEO.
VO3 AI. You know, now ChatGPT talks to you back.
I'm sorry. VEO.
VEO.
VEO3.
So like now ChatGPT, if I put it up, I can have a full conversation with her, and she has a girl.
With her.
It's a girl.
Yeah,
My girl. My ball.
That's my ball.
Right here?
Actually, no, this is just an ad. If you want to go back a page, go to this one, yep. Scroll down. Like it generates content in 4K.
Okay. Oh, wow.
This guy looks real, right?
What?
Wait, is that AI?
Yeah, I was about to say. So it
Oh
creates
my
a video.
God.
So
Scroll down a little bit. Maybe go up just a little bit.
Up,
Go up a little bit. Go up a little bit.
Up.
And it has the prompt, and if you want to expand that.
Oh,
you know what's
wow.
so crazy?
Do you-
I feel like the way that I would use this, I would literally type out like a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that'd be like a crazy way to use it, to type out
You
like a
think this
dream,
is
how you would do,
soon
like
enough,
how it
this
looked.
Look, Hossein is saying you're cooking.
Right?
You're cooking.
Yeah.
Hey, Hossein,
I've
you got
always
the
had that.
Hossein, you got the buttons for a reason. You can,
Yeah, you gotta clap that. You know,
He's
clap
cooking.
it up
He's
for
cooking
it.
right now.
Because like, you know, like imagine like telling a story or something, you know, using it and like having characters and stuff. Like this would be insane.
You know, this is low key.
This is like a movie.
It's this is what they use on Instagram when you see the weird LeBron edits with AI.
Yo, that would be so creepy.
It's gotten so good that like I've seen one clip, because I've seen some on TikTok.
This is AI?
Yeah.
This is insane. This, you know what?
What is the prompt? Could you read the prompt out?
You know, soon enough. Well, you want me to read it out?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say we could read it out.
Brother, I'm blind.
A medium shot, historic adventure setting, warm lamplight illuminates a photographer in a cluttered study, poring over an ancient sprawling map spread across a large table. Cartographer, according to this old sea chart, the lost island isn't myth. We must prepare an expedition immediately.
That's like a whole movie.
It was accurate. PS5 cutscene.
Yeah, it does, like Uncharted.
Yeah.
A detective interrogates a nervous-looking rubber duck. Were you in the night of the bubble bath?
Do you have to subscribe or?
Yeah.
So okay, so you can't. Okay.
Yeah, you have to subscribe to Gemini, and then I think this is another subscription.
Okay. So I was gonna say, can we try something?
I was gonna say, yeah. Can we try something
I looked
out?
at it, but I think it was like $250 or $350 a month.
Stop motion.
250?
Whoa.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
But you gotta think someone who.
No. Yeah.
Someone who has like
100%.
You know, some sort of, or just wants to experiment with it, because then like I'm seeing people take this content, put it on social media, and then monetize it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, that keyboard one, it looks crazy.
But this is kind of like scary. This might take
like this. That looks like a real
that's
person.
a real. That looks like a real woman.
Filmmakers and actors, soon enough, they won't be a thing.
Yeah, you might as well just prompt out a whole movie at this point. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's getting scary.
And that's the thing. I think.
Look at the onions. Look at that one.
It looks real.
That's insane.
Yeah. But isn't this remarkable? Like
this is insane. This is honestly like
they put this out probably a month ago.
Wow.
And I'm saying like my bet is by the end of the year there's going to be some sort of AI movie in theaters. If not next year,
completely
but like
made by Google.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe it because look at this. Just look at this.
Yo,
this is like straight out of like
watch out, man.
like Charlotte in the Web or something. You know.
You're about to lose your jobs by AI.
But that's the thing. I think there needs to be some sort of balance, compromise, even because you don't want like your labor force. You know, if you decrease your labor force by like 40%, that's rough. You know, people are out of jobs. You know, can't support families. Like the realness starts to hit.
Yeah,
creativity is great, but you do need some sort of balance to
like some sort of like line that shouldn't be crossed.
But it makes me think that, the whole, industrial revolution back in, I want to say 1700s, people were scared of technology because you were taking work from the craftsmen.
Yeah.
People who were making clothes. People used to make
like
by hand.
the warehouses and stuff. People were very worried about that time.
Like the invention of the assembly line scared a lot of people. But over time, people adjust, adapt.
Take it out. We're not sponsored.
Yeah.
There's still the fact that people are still involved with it somehow. I feel like there's always gonna be like AI will eventually it's growing. This is no matter what. It's always gonna continue growing. It's always gonna get bigger.
The growth
But I always
of
think
AI over the past like 2 years has been insane.
just a span of 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna get quicker too. That's the funny part. It's gonna get quicker. Yeah. But I think there's always gonna be a point in time where we still have like some type of control over it. There's always gonna be a way that we have a way. I would hope so too. Knock on wood once again.
What's the movie with Will Smith with the robot?
The iRobot. It's so funny. I was thinking about that the entire time.
Yeah.
We don't want it to get to that point. And it's also scary because people are also worried in the medical field that their job is about to take away from by AI.
But even then, I feel like there's still some things that
It's what?
Oh my god!
Surgery on a grave.
Do you guys remember that? That was a meme.
No, I've never seen that.
There was actually like a video. Like,
could you put it up on the screen?
Oh my god! Put everything he says. Just put it up. Wow, surgery
on grave.
On grave.
Yeah, there's a whole thing.
You've never seen this before?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Bro, look how involved this is. They're literally doing surgery on a grave.
I feel like I've seen this in Grey Anatomy.
I know you've seen this in general, like
in Grey Anatomies, for sure.
You ever see like how
crazy, bro?
How precise your hands have to be when doing stuff like that?
Look how precise that is.
I mean, yeah, look at it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like robots actually doing the work.
But you see how we're still involved with it?
Yeah, but I feel like it's gonna get to a point where we're not gonna be involved.
I don't think so. I feel like
maybe.
I don't know.
People just like evolving, I guess. But to the point far as
that's why I did not expect us to get to surgery on a grave. But
wow, wow, that's insane.
Yeah. That's just me being chronically online.
This is honestly what this podcast is. One of our biggest troubles trying to like stay on the topic. We're talking about basketball. We're gonna be ending up somewhere else.
That's the beauty of it, though.
No, 100%.
It's not forced.
No,
it's just
I'll bring it full circle. I mean, it's all storytelling.
Mm-hmm. Look at this guy cooking. Yeah, clap
this
it up for that one.
This guy is good.
But like my thing with 9450, I mean, we started again. Even now, like 2 years in professionally, I'll say.
Are you full time?
No,
not yet.
No. My day job, I'm an engineer. But so completely separate.
There we go. Engineer, entrepreneur.
Yeah, we're at UCF. How that works. But my goal is to get more into athlete storytelling because I think as of now, it's kind of just covering the games, the X and O's, which we're grateful for. That's an opportunity itself to be on the court, telling the story of the game,
like what's like out there and stuff.
Yeah, the energy. I mean, the standout players, who performed well, who didn't. Even post game, when you get to interview coaches and players.
Do you get to interview like players and stuff? That's
crazy. And that was something I had. Again, I started out with clothing. To get to that point.
Do you remember like your first time doing that?
Yeah.
Like how insane it was for you?
I was scared.
I feel like it'd be so nervous.
Walk us down that story.
Yeah, walk us down. Like, how'd you get to that point?
Yeah, so this had to be 2023, and so how we got the credential was through one of the Magic reps. There, we went to a game, got connected with someone there, and we had some pretty close seats, right? And just struck up a conversation, and I told him, hey, I'm actually interested in covering the Magic, as media. How would that work? I didn't know the process, so they kind of walked me through it. Turns out they had a background in radio, so they kind of understood, how hard it is to get into basketball. Yeah, because
trying to get to that opportunity is like, especially if like, I don't know, when you don't really know certain things, like trying to figure it out, it's a little more harder. You're trying to figure out how to do it. You know?
Yeah. So that, that's all right.
But he left the door open.
That's all good. Don't worry about it.
This guy.
They kind of sympathize with, okay, they, luckily we had the blog already going. I would travel to events because on one hand it was networking, going to the McDonald's All-American game in Houston when Bronny James played. and we got some content from there.
Wow.
I wasn't credentialed, but I was like, let me show up, show face.
Just be there, yeah, show face.
Is it every or like sort of like the basketball players that you choose, or does it have to be who you're covering? So like, for example, if the Orlando Magic are playing the Lakers, would you be able to interview someone from the Lakers, or does it have to? Okay.
Yeah.
So
whoever's,
So it's not mandatory to who you're working for, basically.
No, but you do, I mean, there is kind of like a untold thing that, you know, if a team's credentialing you, you know, you do want to get some content around them.
Like prioritize them and then, okay.
Yeah, but if it's like, again, if the Lakers are coming in, they understand that, you know, that's the biggest brand in the NBA, you know, team-wise. You know, them, the Knicks, that kind of stuff, Miami. So if the Magic are playing against one of those teams, you know, it, as a small brand like us, it makes sense for us to go get that content. And then the team understands that, you know, there's more viewers watching like the Lakers or something globally type of deal. So
I mean, you're trying to find that connection, you know, to expand out, you know?
Yeah. And also just seeing the game from that perspective, like a typical day covering a game, you're there 2 hours before tip off. You're there when guys are coming out, working on, you know, going through practice, shots, player development.
So what are you doing like in that moment?
Recording some content, but also networking as well. I'm meeting the player development coaches, the ball boys, the equipment managers, anyone involved with the game, even the IT guys who are out there, who I know, you know, just through my day job and stuff. But with that, it's just expanding the network. You know, not only the Magic people, but also who's from the opposing team. You know, who's doing their social media, who's doing their, you know, content. You know, meeting their photographers, videographers, all that stuff. Because now you're in that space. You're there for a reason. You might as well network.
Hey, you're rubbing elbows with the right people. You know, you're making these big connections and stuff.
Now I know people in Chicago or Sacramento or Atlanta or Memphis. You know, because they're coming here to play the Magic. That's the beauty of it. I used to think like, oh, you know, you had to go out to those cities and meet those teams, but they have to come here.
Yeah.
You know,
do you mostly do home games, or do you ever go to like away games?
So far, it's been mostly home games.
Mostly home games. Okay.
But now we've started to expand. We just had someone at the NBA Combine in Chicago. We had some content from there. The more established reporter, but we had a good enough relationship that I said, hey, if you don't mind, you know, could you get us some content? You know, we'll pay you for it, that kind of stuff. And we got our content. So, you know, it's kind of just, you know, there is a there is a method to the madness kind of thing, because, you know, we're not at a point to where we can get credentialed for the NBA Combine, but I'm hoping next year we continue building our team and everything, and then, you know, I can send someone to Chicago to go cover this event. You know, and
that would be.
What is like your next goal right now?
I know. Hold on. We're gonna be wrapping up in a couple of minutes. Because unfortunately, it's gonna be a short episode but we're gonna have him back here for sure for part 2 and a way longer episode. Now that we know, because it's a new setup, so we were kind of like working of how to set it up. But he's gonna come back and we're gonna talk more about his business and stuff like that.
Sorry to cut you off so soon.
No, No, he's definitely gonna be back, guys. Don't worry. But
any last things you want to say though?
Yeah.
No, I appreciate the invite.
I appreciate you coming.
I'm actually excited that, you know, we're in this new space and everything.
Oh, of course. We're gonna have him back a couple more times as his company is growing. He's gonna come back here. Yeah. I promise you guys. Don't worry, I'm gonna blow up his phone. He's gonna come back here one way or another.
He's gotta answer one way or another.
Forcefully or not.
And if not you know.
Yeah. But hopefully this brings you guys some recognitions.
Shall we?
With Josh and what he's about. You know, 9450.media and 9450 Global. Go look at the clothing brand and stuff like that.
Shall we
what?
Do the usual ending with the song of the day?
Oh yeah. So we like to do the song of the day for our guests.
Yeah, like is it?
Leave it there. So what is your song of the day for today? What were you listening?
This is kind of like something that we like to do at the end of our episodes. So connect more.
I've been listening to Key Glock lately.
Who's that?
Key Glock?
Never
heard. Key Glock. He's a rapper from Memphis.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have played.
Wait. It's spelled K-EY Glock?
Yeah.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah. Okay. So give us a song.
Yo, give us a song.
Yeah, give the audience
if you want, you could look for a little reference.
Let's go with I think it's called Blue Devil.
Blue Devil by Key Glock.
Got some Duke references.
No, don't search it up, Jose. I saw you typing. Don't search it up. It's not sponsored.
What were you saying?
Yeah, this kid in the middle, he actually played at Duke, Tyrese Proctor. So that's a tie in there.
Oh, there you go.
That,
little
that was,
connection
that was
right
our
there.
NBA combine content.
That's his name, Tyrese
Proctor, yeah. He's a guard at Duke, and then he's in the draft this year.
Oh, congratulations, bro.
Once again, thank you so much for coming out. You know, having us.
Hey, shout out to him. His all his information is gonna be down below, so you guys can check him out and stuff like that. Again, he'll be back for another episode, probably part 2.
This was fun, man. Thank you guys.
Yeah, right.
No,
it's
yeah,
fun.
of course.
Yeah.
How would you say, like, you know, your first time?
Is this your first podcast?
Well, I've done podcasts.
We ain't take.
But this is actually the first, like, in this setup, being interviewed and everything. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're gonna interview you way.
Oh yeah,
more.
there's gonna be a lot more. Like next episode is gonna be a lot.
No, this is chill. I was expecting. I don't know. In my mind, I'm like interrogation. You know, I got to be on point.
Yeah. So what's your name?
Right?
Yeah. What's your age?
Yes.
Where you from?
Yeah.
Security.
Right. Yeah.
Credit card.
No, this is chill. You guys are great hosts.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Actually, that was really appreciated. You know.
Yeah. We'll get better as time goes by.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna give you time with him alone to connect.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
All
And
right.
that's gonna be it for today's episode. And once again, tune in on all our socials.
Clap it up,
down below.
clap it up.
Go ahead and clap
Shout
it
out
up.
to the camera.
Great episode, yeah. Great episode. Thank you for the cameraman,
Check it
Hosan.
out.
You helped out a lot putting up and posting stuff.
And this is episode
24?
4, I think.
24? I'm gonna go 24.
The Kobe podcast.
Yeah. I hope so. I really hope I'm not wrong saying 24, but you know, we'll get a little correction.
All right.
And once again, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good stuff.
Nice.
That was great, man.
Good stuff.
Almost weird taking off the headphone.
What? It sounds so much like